Welcome to Easy Teaching for You. In this video, you'll be presented with the most required books for your teaching preparation exam. Book number 1, Techniques and Principles in English Teaching by Freeman. If you're looking for concrete examples of how to use scientific methods and approaches inside the classroom, then this book is the best option for you. It contains almost all methods and approaches. However, it provides concrete examples of how teachers can use them inside the classroom. And through these examples, you'll be introduced to each of these methods' principles. This book provides a brief history of each method and how it's applicable inside the classroom and what are their principles. I may make a video later about some of these methods, so stay tuned, guys. And if you like it, please write in the comment that you'd like to learn more about this method. The second book we have is Effective Classroom Management by Tracy Garrett, where he talks about how to manage your classroom effectively. When you hear classroom management, the first thing that might come to your mind is discipline. However, this book devotes a great portion of its paper talking about how to prevent misbehavior through creating a healthy environment. So this diagram summarizes all the book. It started with the physical layout of the classroom, moving to establishing rules and routines, which is called the didactical contract, moving to the relationship between students, parents, and teachers. This book also provides how teachers can make their classroom more engaging and more active. So as you can see, it devotes a great portion focusing on how to prevent misbehavior. And it devotes a small portion talking about how to respond to this misbehavior, because the main job of teachers is to prevent these misbehaviors to happen instead of just thinking about how to respond to them. And in the last part, it talks about two types of behavior: chronic misbehavior and normal misbehavior. So teachers need to pay attention more to creating a healthy and safe environment. The third book we have is an outline of second language acquisition theories. So as its name indicates, it talks about how languages are acquired through theories of learning. Mainly we'll focus only on behaviorism, cognitivism, and constructivism for your revision for teaching exam. So these are the main theories besides crash and hypotheses. As you can see, this is the content of this book. I highlighted certain things that must be read in order to understand how languages are acquired from different perspectives, from behaviors perspective concerning stimulus response, to nativist, to cognitivism theory, which focuses mainly on the brain and schemes and schemata, which I will talk about later, maybe in a solo video, talking about these theories of learning and their contribution into teaching field. There are many other things that are worth reading, such as error analysis, how errors actually contribute in the learning process of our students. So these are all together important for understanding how learning acquires. The fourth book we have is How to Teach English. This is a very famous book in teaching field. Almost all teachers know this book, or you have to know this book because it contains almost everything that is related to teaching field. So it's a must to know this book. This book is important because it contains various aspects that are really important to the teaching field, like talking about the processes of teaching and learning, whether teaching is an art or a science, talking about how to teach reading, writing, speaking, and the skills of teaching and learning, It also talks about the test. So it contains all dimensions, and even classroom management is in this book. So as you can see here, it even contains planning the lessons, testing, as I said, and even a section that says what if. What if these things happen inside the classroom? What teachers have to do and not to do. The last one is not a book but an article. It's called The Natural Approach of Stephen Krashen. Stephen Krashen deals or provides 5 hypotheses of how languages are learned. The first one is input, is to provide a clear instructions and a clear lesson to your students. Even though you are using the L1 or L2, it doesn't matter. Affective filter, it refers to the emotional barrier that students might have while learning. So it's important to set up a safe environment where you do not humiliate your students or degrade them for any reason, and you do not have to scold them for their mistakes, because this hypothesis claims that students learn from their mistakes. And there is another one which is called error analysis that I talked about earlier. There is also acquisition learning, which is the fact that learning is a conscious act while acquisition is a subconscious act. There is also monitor hypothesis, which says that teachers are monitors and not real instructors. They have to help students, help learning take place instead of just manipulate, or let's say take a place of authority inside the classroom. The last one, which is the most important hypothesis, which is the natural order. This hypothesis claims that all learners start learning through listening, moving to speaking, then moving to reading, and then last thing is writing. So when we learn our mother tongue language, we hear first, we listen to our parents, to our surroundings, and then start to imitate them. And little by little, we start acquiring the language.